Wrestling is a fight.
You gotta use a few tricks up your sleeve, if you know what I mean, a bit of the old skullduggery.
Get out of the fucking ring.
It looks like the young lovers thinking about golden towers, I'm not sure.
Jeff Cobb is one powerful motherfucker!
This is one powerful motherfucking podcast. This is Strong Honor, where we talk about Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And this week, we are going to mix in a lot of indie stuff, too. WrestleMania weekend was just last weekend, so yeah, we got a ton to talk about.
Insane.
Supercard of Honor, the super long Ring of Honor, biggest Ring of Honor show in history. We got to talk about that. We will preview the Masters of the Craft Ring of Honor show coming up this weekend. We got to talk about the big New Japan presence on the indie scene that happened around WrestleMania weekend, the big Rev Pro show. It's Minoru Suzuki all over the place, Tanahashi making appearances, the Golden Lovers. So we'll get into more of that indie stuff towards the end of the show, but we're going to cover Supercard of Honor here at the beginning. We'll talk a little bit of New Japan, specifically kind of in the middle of the show. We get to preview a couple of Korakuen Hall shows that are going to be live on njpwworld.com this weekend. Nothing big, but just a couple of Road to Dontaku shows to get us warmed up for that. So, but no championships defended this weekend or anything. So we kind of have an easy weekend of wrestling coming up this weekend. There's still going to be stuff to watch, but it's nothing that's going to be like, oh my God, I have to see all this. Not like this weekend or this last weekend with the WrestleMania and all the great indie stuff. I only got to see a small fraction of it.
This is mayhem.
And there's so much I
saw an even smaller fraction, but I still saw a lot.
Right, there was still enough to, even if you watched a small fraction, there was plenty of wrestling to watch all weekend and have your significant other threatening to leave you.
Yes.
By the end of
I give mad props to my girlfriend this week.
Yeah, my wife was pretty tolerant, but she was also really sick. That helped so much. It was my birthday weekend as well.
I had to take Monday off. I did not watch any wrestling Monday, and we spent the entire after I got off work anyway, Monday, we spent the evening together, same thing most of the day Tuesday, and finally last night, Tuesday night, I got caught up on some things and then spent all day today getting caught up on the rest of it, at least the stuff that I had to get caught up on in order to do this show and the other ones and all of that. Thank you. If you're new to the show, by the way, I don't know if I said our names. My name's Tommy Stryker. Over there's Joe.
Oh, this is classy.
Taco is over there.
What up?
We've been doing this for a long time. We feel like no introductions are necessary, but in case you're new, and a lot of you are checking us out for the first time, so thanks for checking us out. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're getting your podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you get them, and wherever you can rate and review, that would be helpful. And do the social media thing, retweet us, talk about us to your friends, all of that. Talk to us. Participate in the conversation. That's always welcome too. We've got some people on Twitter that like to interact with us.
Fun times.
And so the more the merrier. So please join the conversation. So, all right, let's start with Supercard of Honor. That was the biggest show that kind of caters to this audience, Strong Honor wise. With and like I said, we'll get into some of the indie stuff that happened later on, especially like the Rev Pro show, which I haven't had a chance to see yet. I know a lot of you are screaming at me right now that I haven't had a chance to see that, but I'm definitely, hopefully going to be able to check that out the next week. But we've got the results here, and we'll talk about what we know about it anyway. Because there's lots of big news. Zack Sabre signing full time with New Japan, losing both of his championships to Evolve and Rev Pro. That's a story that's out there, and a couple of great matches that I certainly saw. I saw the Evolve match, but I have not seen the Rev Pro one, obviously yet. But so we'll get to all of that. So Supercard of Honor. Let's talk about. Well, first of all.
Streaming?
we should start there because that's a big story. Saturday night, my intention was to. It's kind of funny because I kind of feel a little bit hypocritical here because throughout the day Saturday, as I'm at work getting ready to go home, I'm very excited for the evening coming up because it was NXT and Supercard of Honor head to head, and I was very excited for both. But as it was getting closer to the event, I was actually more excited for NXT, and I was actually more. I wanted to watch that first. I just did for some reason, but I stuck to my word. I said I was going to watch Ring of Honor live and then go back and watch NXT, but I couldn't watch Ring of Honor live. The website
you and a lot of people.
Yeah, the website crashed. Couldn't get onto Honor Club.
Big old white screen of death.
Yeah, Ring of Honor is saying it wasn't necessarily a server issue, but somewhere in the application or the software or something is where things were going wrong. So
you guys getting the $40 credit then?
I believe all the Honor Club members or the VIPs get the $40 credit, which I got to look into cashing in on, by the way. And then the what was the other? Was it $20 for the?
I think for like the day or monthly subscribers.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's awesome that they ponied up. $40 is generous. Holy shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer. I think it's just that specific pay-per-view because I earlier that Saturday I loaded it up on my PS4 Honor Club and I was like, holy shit, this fucking works on my web browser on the PlayStation. That's awesome.
Nice.
I kind of clicked around and stuff was loading up, so I was like, cool, I'm prepped for this shit. And then I go to Supercard and it's not loading up. I'm like, this is the PlayStation, this is my phone, what the fuck is going on? And yeah, going back the next day, I was still having issues on the PlayStation, not being able to load it up and just not working at all. So I threw out a tweet like, fuck, I still can't watch Supercard. I was like, you guys had my fucking attention over WWE. Like, I planned on this over that. Like, how do you do me wrong like this? What? And I tried it out on my phone, on my laptop, and it was loading up just fine. So
it could have been a PlayStation issue.
I think it was just, I think they kind of limited, I'm no tech nerd savvy at all with that stuff, but I think they limited to what it could be streamed on. So
well, and I think by the I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm pretty sure by the end of the show they had the thing worked out because after NXT was over, I went right over to Honor Club and it loaded up right away, and I was able to watch the last 3 or so matches.
I don't know if it was
3 or 4
planned
matches.
or what, but yeah, they called a long intermission or whatever, and yeah, it just worked out perfect right after NXT. We were able to,
and that was one of the things. Just watching the on Saturday night, just watching the last 4 matches. I was like, man, I can't believe this show is like there's still 4 matches to watch this late. So without me being aware of that long intermission, that kind of affected my opinion. I was like, wow, this show was going really late, and the crowd
was pretty long though.
Yeah, it was, and that affected the main event. It affected, I thought, the semi-main a little bit.
I don't think so.
I thought maybe not the semi-main, but definitely the main event. I thought was really affected by the crowd. I thought the crowd was really tired, and I thought that putting
I feel like the crowd was so fucking geeked out. You can't use that excuse at all for this weekend.
But that's the thing is, I thought the crowd was dead for the most part of the Marty Scurll and Dalton Castle match. They got him back into it by the end, and a really good finish for that match too. I thought with what they did with the powder and getting it in Scurll's face. He didn't see that it was the ref in front of him. He breaks the ref's fingers a couple of times. Then he goes for the pin, but the referee can't make the count because his fingers are broken. So I thought that was a great spot, and it got the crowd hyped up again by the end of the match. But that long match at the end of that long show, and being that late in the night, and after all of the wrestling that a lot of people have seen already, I thought that match suffered in that spot. I
gotta disagree.
All right, well, that's fine.
It's just there's so much fucking wrestling going on that whole weekend. People are just nonstop, and they're nonstop partying and out there too. So it was just to me the type of match it was. Marty Scurll just got off this amazing match with Will Ospreay. That's fresh in everybody's minds, and I think they're kind of expecting more of a barn burner out of that. And I thought the Cody and Omega match went a little bit too long for my taste.
Yeah, and that was the thing that kind of affected my opinion overall on the show too, is because I showed up for this. I signed up for this to watch Cody get his ass kicked and watch Kenny Omega win. Mm-hmm. And when Cody won, it just sucked so much air out of the room. It just sucked the life out of the room, and that's why I thought the main event, the championship going on last, I thought it suffered because of that and the long show, and then I thought it suffered because Dalton Castle got the win. I thought for sure that since they put this in the main event that they would have Marty Scurll win the championship here and just and give us that big satisfying win at the end. Although I think their thoughts are Dalton Castle getting a win is a positive thing also. And it was a good match, just in a tough spot.
See, and I disagree. I actually liked the outcome of the Kenny Omega Cody Rhodes just because of how they did it, but it doesn't. I do agree that it still affected the main event in the fact that they should have did that first, just to, if you're going to take the air out of the room, end the pay-per-view on that.
See, I'm glad they ended with the belt. Keep faith. Have faith in your guys.
Well,
shut up, Taco.
There is something to that too. Elevate the prestige of your championship. Go ahead and put
title.
It on last. It's just that I still have the opinion that I just don't think Dalton Castle is a good main event guy. So, and that's just my opinion. So, but I think that the proof is in the pudding in that main event match. But that being said,
he also had a fucking ladder match before that, last man standing match before that, just Bubba's turn before that. So it was just constant bang, 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 bang. It wasn't. That was your Ring of Honor match, was that main event match. Everything else was your fucking slapstick, let's fucking oddball Ring of Honor, essentially.
Yeah, and again, I think, and even after I watched it in two different parts. I watched, obviously, those main events on Saturday. Mm-hmm. I watched the rest of the show today. That was a long show. And
it was very long.
A lot of stuff that the Bully Ray thing took a long time. Mm-hmm. And I felt like, even on commentary, Colt was like, we're going to have an Eli Isom match. Like, this is really unnecessary. Like the fucking play-by-play guy or the color commentator's like, why are we doing this? Like, this is a really long, why is Eli Isom having a fucking match with Cheeseburger, for crying out loud? And I was like, yeah, this is, why are we doing this? And of course it was the entire Bully Ray angle, which again went on too long. I like what they're doing with Bully Ray. I like him becoming the, what did Colt call him? The bitter veteran. The bitter veteran gimmick, I think.
Hey, man. He's a WWE Hall of Famer.
Right. It's so the Bully Ray story over this last year or so has been really kind of fascinating, with him going through the retirement tour, giving the speeches, basically practicing for the Hall of Fame speech, basically. But yeah, doing the retirement thing now, obviously coming out of retirement, or certainly turning heel and becoming the bitter veteran. It'll be interesting to see if he's actually coming out of retirement to wrestle, or is just turning heel in this authority role, which, God forbid, I don't really want to see more heel authority figures. But I kind of like what they're doing with Bully here, if he's going back to being a wrestler, which I hope is the direction that they're going, because I don't want to see the heel authority figure.
Absolutely not.
So let's talk about Cody versus Kenny Omega there in that spot. We talked about how the finish was disappointing, but you like kind of how they did it, Joe, with the ref bump and the Young Bucks coming out they're going to go to kick Cody in the face, but he falls out of the way. They end up kicking Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes takes the cheap victory with the Crossroads or whatever, takes advantage of the Young Bucks' mistake and getting the win. So where do you feel like we're going with this? Obviously, maybe not obviously, but this week's Being the Elite, episode 100.
100.
The finale.
The finale. It was so sad. Cody wants to celebrate, but nobody wants to celebrate with him. The Young Bucks say goodbye to Marty Scurll. He's got a record deal.
Exclusive record deal.
He's got to leave.
$5 million,
being
man.
the Elite. Flip Gordon taking care of Brandy Rhodes because Kenny inadvertently V-triggered her off the ring and through a table.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But took it like a champ.
But yeah, and Flip Gordon, moving in on Cody's, wife. What's up with all that? So lots of interesting
Mystique, my friend, Mystique.
Lots of interesting stories coming out of that.
Cody rocking the frickin' contact on the side that he got the cut. on.
I didn't notice the contact.
He was wearing like a red, like flame-colored contact on that one.
The eye patch.
Nice, yeah.
Oh, man.
Being escorted to the ring by police at the beginning of the match. Bernard the Business Bear coming out with him. Bernard getting ejected early because of skullduggery.
His head kicked off.
What's that?
He got his head kicked off.
That's right. It was very what's his Shockmaster like, even though we didn't get a reveal of who was under Bernard. Obviously it didn't matter because they didn't show it and it wasn't part of any story there, but I thought it was
I like seeing the fan in the crowd. He's wearing the thing, just sitting there watching the match.
that was a fun part. But yeah, lots of heat for Cody in the match. Brandy throwing him the gimmick, doing the foreign object thing, the ref's throwing it out, he's kicking Kenny in the nuts, all this insanity. Hang on, I gotta
that part was so perfect.
I gotta
too.
silence my cell phone here. Silence your cell phones and shut your mouths. So, okay, what are we doing here? Cody's getting all this heat, gets the cheap win. The Young Bucks are distraught. They kicked the wrong guy. Being the Elite, the whole Bullet Club is breaking up. What the hell's going on? Where's the payoff? Is the payoff coming in New Japan? I think it's coming at the All In show. We did have the announcement that Okada is going to be at All In. I'm so jacked up for that now. When that fucking coin drops at All In, I'm going to be all geeking out like crazy.
I'm not going anymore.
Fuck that Rainmaker, he says. I don't know. Where are we going with this Cody and Kenny thing? What do you guys think?
I have no fucking clue, man. That's the thing, is these guys throw out so many different freaking angles, you never know which one they're going to pick. That's what keeps us intrigued. That's using the B and the Elite to just further all these feuds and just little cracks and everything. I have no fucking clue. I like the idea to think that sooner or later, Cody is just going to get a huge comeuppance and just get destroyed by all of them. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like, because right now we're all rooting for the Young Bucks and Cody to get back together. We're rooting for the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon. We're basically rooting for Flip Gordon to join the Elite, even though he's kind of pseudo, because he's on being the Elite. He's in these in all these main events, or not the main events necessarily, but directly involved certainly with what's going on with the Young Bucks. So we're rooting for that. We're rooting completely against Cody, which is fun, but obviously the disappointing outcome here. Taka, what are your thoughts here?
I was expecting a Young Bucks turn on Kenny this weekend, so I was kind of expecting some fuckery to happen, but watching the being the Elite, now the Bucks kind of have a reason to turn on Kenny, since he said, we're not friends anymore. You're no longer my friends. Get out of my face. So what better way than stay a business relationship with Cody Rhodes, make your money, gang up on Kenny at this point.
It still feels like but Kenny was upset. There was the miscommunication. He's upset that he got kicked in the face and lost the damn match to the 3-star special Cody Rhodes. So there needs to be a time of healing. There needs to be they need to sit down and have a summit. They need to explain these things to each other. We need more being the Elite. So this can't be the finale. They have to explain.
Who took out Joey Ryan?
Oh, that's right. That Joey Ryan got taken out
with
a phone. My question to you, I'm going to throw out some fantasy booking here in the sense of, what if we get a double turn and Young Bucks kick them both eventually? I mean, Young Bucks take over the Bullet Club. There's no problem with those two being the leader, technically.
That's a possibility.
Bad luck, Fale.
I feel more like it's Kenny that's going out of the Bullet Club because of what's going on with Kota Ibushi. But then again, I kind of feel like the ultimate story there is breaking up with Kota Ibushi, because then we get the Kota Ibushi Kenny Omega singles match, which is what
I'm expecting a lot of golden showers, though.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen one yet, so that's the double 450 out of the corner, actually. So we haven't quite seen that part yet.
Face Kenny's great and all, but how great was heel Kenny?
Right. Well, yeah, that's the thing. So, I mean, there's a possibility of a turn there. I don't think we're going to get babyface Cody at any point, and I can't see. I mean, can you see Cody and Kenny aligning, like coming to terms and being a unified force at some point?
Hulk Hogan and Macho Man did.
So anything's possible.
Like I said, Young Bucks kick them both, and then you got a tag match between the two, or the four.
That's
It's gonna fucking happen now. I'm telling you.
I don't know, man. Fantasy booking is fucking rough. All right, we talked about
We got a pretty rough record.
We talked about the bully turn. Anything you guys else wanted to touch on the Marty Scurll Dalton Castle main event? They did that backdrop on the stairs, that top rope standing superplex. Nick Aldis was out there at ringside handing. This was kind of got lost in translation for people in the building. I noticed they didn't really know why Nick Aldis was there. They didn't really notice that he was the one that handed Marty Scurll the clippers so he could unclip the turnbuckle pad and cause more skullduggery in the ring.
Right.
So that's kind of what the story there that they were telling on TV was that Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll are they're countrymen, they're friends from back in England or
They're
whatever.
all chaps.
Right. But a lot of people now are speculating: are we going to get an NWA World's Heavyweight Championship at All In? And even the All In account, kind of chiming in a little bit on there. Like,
I saw that.
We're listening, kind of a thing. So, at being in Chicago, that's Billy Corgan country, and he's in control of the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship right now. So that's interesting stuff, anyway. But that was kind of a neat little thing that they threw into the fold there. But yeah, we talked about the powder spot, but what almost killed that thing, where it killed the match anyway, the momentum, was Marty taking forever to find the fucking powder underneath
You heard
the
him
ring.
screaming like, "They fucking moved it on me!"
yeah, that was rough. Yeah, I thought like I said, I thought the middle of that match really suffered. Him searching for the powder. I mean, they did like I said, that backdrop on the stairs and that big huge superplex, and it just felt like nobody cared.
I fucking loved the match.
I
I thought it was a good
match. I
showing of
enjoyed
Dalton
it.
Castle and Marty Scurll. And my buddy Derek was over, and he knows Marty Scurll. He's never seen Dalton Castle, so his mind was
that's a lot of
fucking
fun then.
blown by him. I was like, wait till you see what he does in the ring, and he's just fucking blown away by both of these guys. So yeah, I thought it was perfect to end out the show. It's just
It was in a tough spot.
There's just so much going on beforehand that, to me, that was a Ring of Honor match. Everything else wasn't.
Okay. Well, let's briefly touch on this Kenny King versus Silas Young TV title match. The last man standing TV title match. Austin Aries coming out at the beginning of it, declaring that I want whoever the winner is. I made this challenge before. Nobody answered me. I'm making it again. I'm here to collect belts. I want to collect this television title because I've never had the Ring of Honor TV title before. He goes and does the color commentary.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yes, very good.
Well, and here's the thing: like the minute he came out and said that, he's challenging whoever comes out. One, I had the feeling that Silas Young was going to win because of that, but two, I got excited. Austin Aries versus Silas Young.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that just excites me.
Yeah, I'm more excited about anything with Silas Young than anything with Kenny King at this point, to be honest. So
Correct.
It's too bad because Kenny King is good. There's just something not quite. It just doesn't do it for me.
He doesn't have the it factor.
It's Hiroki Goto. It's just
I like him. He needs to be around in the NXT kind of situation where he's gonna have so many. I mean, he's in a great spot right now with Ring of Honor. There's a lot of great resources there, but we see the resources at NXT and they have in their developmental system, and it just polishes people up. So, just further down his career, we'll see where he goes. And, yeah, I'm liking what Kenny King's doing.
Yeah, I like he did that big shooting star off the top rope through a table. The finish for this match was fun with Beer City Bruiser hiding under the ring, zip tying Kenny King's leg so he can't stand to answer the 10 count.
Beer City Bruiser's face when he came out from under the ring and just smiled with that big jacked up smile he's got. I was laughing so
just
hard.
that whole shot was awesome. And then you had fucking Silas Young barely able to stand, leaning out,
Right.
against the guardrail. So just everything was perfect about that.
Right. And then Austin Aries attacking the Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young after the match, so furthering that angle there. So good, fun stuff there. Let's skip around a little bit. I don't want to bury this ladder match anymore because I thought that was pretty fucking phenomenal and very different from the NXT ladder match, being that was it wasn't tag teams. It was
Individuals.
Individuals. A 6-way match.
Lone Rangers.
Right. Every man for himself. That's that's the phrase I was trying to think of. I was trying to think of every man for himself, and it wasn't coming to me. Whereas this, of course, was tag teams, and I feel like the NXT ladder match was a lot more physical and hard hitting, and this had elements of that, but this was more spot driven, I thought, and more told the story of, well, the Kingdom is not supposed to be here. This amazing ladder match is happening. The Kingdom show up to ruin it, but then get ruined themselves.
Wearing Bubba's camouflage,
right,
camo gear, calling him out,
right. SoCal Uncensored retaining here, which again, we are rooting for the Young Bucks. We're rooting for the Young Bucks to win a championship with Flip Gordon, and then SoCal Uncensored retain because of all the skullduggery, and then the Kingdom steal the belts after the match. Just adds to that story.
Off.
Flip Gordon in this match, doing like a springboard and then bouncing off the top of the post and going to the floor, and then doing the spot on the tippy top of the ladder, kicking a guy, and then taking the face bump on the top of the ladder.
I thought he hit himself. Like that first camera angle made it look more serious than it was, but
exactly.
He fucking sold that like a champ.
Yeah, that was great. And then Nick Jackson doing the hopscotching onto 3 different ladders on his way to a dive out to the floor was amazing.
We'll go into it later, but just Flip Gordon this whole fucking weekend, man. He's one of the golden stars this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Just an insane match. SoCal retaining the titles here. I like what they're doing with the Kingdom here, and I like SoCal retaining because it just gives us we just want more out of Flip Gordon and the Young Bucks, and we feel like they're getting screwed in this whole situation. And I like the story of SoCal Uncensored being that they're just riding their contracts out to the end of the year until Bully fires them or lets them go or whatever. And that this whole thing with the Kingdom plays into this Bully heel turn as well, being the angry veteran or whatever. Does he remain an authority and have something to say about all of this, or does that whole thing get blown up and we have a new authority that has to deal with what's going on with the Kingdom and SoCal Uncensored? So I'm intrigued. I like what's going on.
I thought Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky were just fucking amazing in this match. Kazarian fucking showed up for me. Like, he's been impressive before, like him and Adam Page, multiple tag matches, ladder wars even.
Yeah.
But he was fucking just phenomenal for me during this match. Like, really showed what he's got. And he was like, low 40s. Like, I mean, he's got some age on him, and but he fucking showed up. That night.
He's one of those guys that's gotten into the shape of his life and really shown up in these multi-man tag matches and anything involving the Young Bucks over the past year. Both Daniels and Kazarian have really just brought it in Ring of Honor ever since showing up. So, mad props to all of those guys. Let's talk this Briscoes versus Jay Lethal and Hiroshi Tanahashi match here. This, on paper, I was like, this is just a match to get Tanahashi on the card and blah, blah, blah. And even I really thought that this was a good match, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But again, a long show. This kind of felt like unnecessary.
That really hurt their match for me. It just went so fucking long, so long.
But I can only watch the Briscoes beat ass for so long.
But the thing about it though is it was good, and I liked the overall overarching story for me was this kind of rivalry that goes back between Jay Briscoe and Jay Lethal, and that was really evident in the match too, just those two squaring off. And so it made me want to see those two go at it with something on the line, a championship again or whatever. Seeing them both elevated to that spot, I think would be a good thing, perhaps, but because I feel like they've been away from it long enough to where it might feel fresh again.
Just like looking on our sheet, the last 4 or 5 matches are over 15 minutes apiece.
Right,
so it's just split that up a little bit.
I thought the shortest match was the last man standing match too.
It's just, that's not including the intros and all that shit going on in between either. So it's just you need to space that out just a little bit better. It's a good fucking match, awesome, stellar lineup, but
this could have been a TV show match, something for TV.
Could have been the opener of the whole thing, set the pace.
Sure, yeah. But again, they certainly could have cut 2 or 3 matches off of this show to make it a more compact and hot show. Man, NXT was so fucking good. We're going to talk about that on Best Pro Wrestling Podcast this week. But I mean, five matches, 2.5 hour show. Nobody's burnt out. Awesome matches. I think wrestling as a whole, Ring of Honor, New Japan, especially WWE with that fucking long ass WrestleMania, just give us shorter, good ass shows.
They just know how to set the pace too during an NXT show. There's never like a bad spot where a match is.
All right, let's move on. Let's quickly touch on Sumi Sakai winning the first ever Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
That's about the coolest part.
Long overdue. This should have been done a long time ago. This was not a good match. It was okay, but yeah, the finish was bad. It was messed up. She goes to hit the moonsault, completely misses her. They don't know what to do. She hits a DDT and pins her out of nowhere after the moonsault. It was odd. It's too bad that they didn't have a little more star power, but I understand, wanting to put people in there that have been dedicated to the brand, I guess. Sumi Sakai being a long-time Ring of Honor participant. So I
46 years old, too.
Yeah, and she's decent. She's good. She has... She brings it in the ring, that unique Japanese women's wrestling style. But it's just a styles clash here. Kelly Klein, leaves a little something to be desired, I think, when it comes to her in the ring work. So yeah, seeing like a Tenille in this spot, the Mayu Iwatani, she was really good. It would have been nice to see her in the spot. Even Deonna Purrazzo, who maybe isn't the best, but I think she's a little bit better than maybe like a Kelly Klein. But again, they're telling that story with Kelly. This is the story that they've been telling with Kelly Klein. She's been she's never been pinned or submitted, and this was supposed to be the big crowning moment, and it just didn't deliver. So it's unfortunate. Kota Ibushi versus Hangman Page.
Yes,
this absolutely deserves some attention here. Very good match. I thought this was just a titch under 4 stars. If you wanted to argue it being a 4-star match, go right ahead.
I'm gonna.
But yeah, I thought. Let's talk about Hangman Page, the evolution there. Him having the long match on Strong Style evolved with Jay White, him having a big singles match here with Kota Ibushi, him working that main event style. I think he's a guy that Ring of Honor needs to continue to build up. I think he's a future, main event guy, and proving it that he can hang in a spot like this was crucial. I thought he's continuing to evolve, I think.
Well, I think I was talking with Taco about it, but I remember one of the first comments I'd heard about Hangman Page was from you, Tommy, which was that I can't believe this guy brings a fucking noose to the ring, and who the fuck does he think he is? This isn't going to work, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And watching him build, again, winning us over. Everybody has those moments where you're like, oh, who the fuck is this piece of shit? And then they turn into one of your favorite stars. Look at this guy. Look at the year he's had.
Yeah.
It's been insane.
And in a match with a guy like Kota Ibushi he's going to learn so much in this style of match. And
huge penis, dude.
The right guy got the win, Kota Ibushi with the Kamigoye. Good early action in the match. Does the German suplex off the guardrail outside.
Oh, my God.
That was insane. He hits the top rope golden triangle moonsault. Kota Ibushi does. Hangman Page does all of his usual spots. But yeah, great finish with the wrist control, getting into the Kamigoye, and Page avoiding it at one point, but then getting hit later on. Very, very good. And yeah, I'm expecting
awesome match.
Hangman Page over the next couple of years is really going to be I think a really an important guy in Ring of Honor, and possibly even in New Japan. He's a guy that we could possibly see in the G1 this year, maybe next year. But I'd like to see this year. But there's so many great candidates for the G1 this year. It's going to be hard to fit a guy like him. But the reason why Hangman Page is in the Bullet Club, that was New Japan's call. So New Japan likes Hangman Page. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a big spot like that. But we will see. Let's see here. Tomohiro Ishii versus Punishment Martinez.
This was fucking fun.
Ishii, again, another guy who had an amazing weekend on doing the indies around WrestleMania and delivering here again. But this match was all about Punishment Martinez. Couple of big-ass dives over the post, landing on his face on the floor.
And he stood right up.
Shook it off like a champ.
Tomohiro Ishii hitting his suplexes in the match, but then Martinez hitting the South of Heaven chokeslam and getting the win.
Good looking South of Heaven chokeslam.
Yeah.
Was it Ishii that hit the suplex off the top rope?
Yes.
Oh my God! When they hit, I was worried about that ring.
Yeah. Ishii always delivers them. His suplexes are just they're so good looking. And definitely delivered.
Over-delivered for me
in this match here. So, and yes, Punishment getting a surprise win. Ishii didn't put too many guys over WrestleMania
Looking
weekend.
good while doing it, though. That dude's definitely one of those guys that last year stepped it up. You can tell his physique's changing. He's getting thicker in the right muscle ways and slimming up in that sense too, and just
tightening up the tum.
His ring work has just been getting sharper and sharper, and it's been fucking awesome with him.
And then the opening match, going back to the really long show, trim some fat, Chucky T versus Jonathan Gresham. It was good. I liked it, but on a long show, it wasn't necessary. This could have been somewhere on TV or some other deal. But I mean,
good opener.
I liked the early grappling. Jonathan Gresham, I really like his style. Chucky T getting the feel good, keep the crowd happy kind of win thing,
which I felt was surprising to me. I really thought John Gresham was going to get the win.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of getting the push before he got injured. Now he's just coming back. This was his big return, and then losing to Chucky T. Yeah, it was a little bit. But I mean,
Does Jonathan Gresham have another name?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
As far as I know, he just uses the Jonathan Gresham.
J.G. Wentworth.
But I mean, the Chucky T, he won with the inside cradle, so it was kind of an out of nowhere with a roll-up kind of thing anyway, so there's a little bit of plausible deniability there. You can always come back to this match, and Jonathan Gresham could get a rematch. But again, like I said, nothing against it. Good match, but not necessary on this super long show. But I think the mentality, again, Ring of Honor's biggest show, let's have it be the biggest, longest show, get everybody on that we can, except for the Motor City Machine Guns. So, that's kind of what it was. So, all right, let's preview Ring of Honor Masters of the Craft coming up this weekend. I should mention I did not get a chance to see Ring of Honor TV this week, but of course it was taped before.
Yeah, nothing too thrilling.
Yeah, I think you said the main
triple threat with. It was a good triple threat. Cody, Christopher Daniels, and Matt Taven of all people, but it's kind of annoying, watching Supercard of Honor, and then you're watching this, and you're like, why is Daniels not whooping Taven's ass right now for stealing his fucking belts? And why does Cody coming out right now anyways? But yeah, Matt Taven got a good win in that triple threat.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, all the tag team stuff that Riccaboni was talking about on Supercard of Honor, he was talking about a tag team scramble to determine the number one contender for the Briscoes. That's going to be coming up next week, I imagine, on Ring of Honor TV. So anyway, Masters of the Craft coming from Columbus, Ohio. This is again not technically a pay-per-view, but it's one of their house shows things that they're going to be doing this a lot more frequently now with Honor Club. So, and there's some interesting stuff here. They're calling it Defy or Deny. This is a four-way match. Dalton Castle versus Marty Scurll versus Beer City Bruiser versus Punishment Martinez.
Jesus.
So, I mean, you got Martinez with the big win. You got the Scurll, Dalton Castle angle. Beer City Bruiser thrown in because why the fuck not?
Because he's Beer City Bruiser, baby.
So, that's a really fun-looking match. It doesn't say if it's for the championship or anything on here.
I believe it is.
So yeah, interesting stuff there. Then Cody versus Matt Taven in a first blood match.
Nice.
Then Jay Lethal versus Jonathan Gresham. This is a rematch. This was Jonathan Gresham got injured the last time he faced off with Jay Lethal in a hell of a match. I remember too. They had a really good match. So looking forward to this one, even though Gresham had the loss to Chucky T last week. Then Coast to Coast versus the Dogs. I'm expecting big things from Coast to Coast here.
You're not big on the Dogs, huh?
No, they just kind of seem like an undercard thing,
But you should put him in like the middle of Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Right, versus Eli Isom and Cheeseburger. But I get a kick out of the Little Willie being a drunk gimmick, so that's kind of fun. And then another big 8-man here, SoCal Uncensored teaming up with Shane Taylor versus the Young Bucks, Flip Gordon, and Hangman Page.
Nice.
So again, you got the Hangman Page Young Bucks, with Hangman being firmly on Team Cody. How does he commingle with the Young Bucks here? And with Flip Gordon's obsession with Brandy, where does that come into play?
Hangman looked pretty sad though when he found out Marty left.
Right, yeah.
Really bummed out.
Yeah. That's the thing is Hangman, even though he's Team Cody, but he's definitely Team Bullet Club. I think everybody liked Marty. Marty didn't know he was so torn. That's why his hair turned white. He didn't know what side to join. He just
right.
he's in the Villain Club. He's just all about the Bullet Club. He was just excited to be there. So that's that pretty much. Okay. Let's should we do this indie stuff? Let's real quick do the New Japan real quick preview of what's coming up this weekend for New Japan real quick, and then we'll get into the crazy insanity that was the weekend of indie stuff.
Oh my god.
So real quick, from Korakuen Hall this Friday the 13th, scary stuff. Tetsuhiro Yagi, Young Lion, versus another Young Lion, Yuya Yumura, I believe is how you say it. I don't think I've seen him yet. So I believe a debuting Young Lion. Well, I should mention, too, we did have a Young Lions show yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to see that. Lionsgate Project 11 from Shinjuku Face. That was live on NJPW World. Haven't had a chance to check that out yet, but they did announce
Slacker.
On the next Young Lions show, Shota Umino, son of Red Shoes, is going to be taking on a Big Japan star who was all over WrestleMania weekend, Daisuke Sakamoto. He's a big Japan guy, so those two facing off on the next Lionsgate show sometime in May is going to be pretty cool. So anyway, back to this weekend, Friday the 13th. Manabu Nakanishi versus another Young Lion, Tomoyuki Oka. Nakanishi's not a Young Lion. He's one of the old grizzled, dads of New Japan dads. So taking on
they got some of those. Taking
on his son Tomoyuki Oka. Not technically his son, but yeah. Taguchi Makabe and Ren Narita teaming up against Umino, Tiger Mask, and Yuji Nagata. Sho, Yo, and Rocky Romero teaming up against Taichi Takamichinoku and Takashi Iizuka. So Sho and Yo looking to get back into the junior tag situation. Taka and Taichi are gonna, or not Taichi, but Taka and it's Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado who have the junior titles right now. So, but nevertheless, it's Suzuki Gun versus Chaos in that 6-man match there. Toa Henare teaming up with Tenzan versus Yano and Ishii, and then a sixth match is LIJ versus Suzuki Gun, Hiromu Takahashi, Bushi, Sonata, and Evil versus Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Lance Archer. This is the clash of the two tag teams, four tag teams? Four tag teams. They're going to be, all the tag teams are going to be facing off for the titles.
All the tag teams.
You get a tag team, and you get a tag team, and you get a tag team.
Yes. Then we have an elimination-style main event here. If you like Survivor Series, this one's for you. Kushida, Elgin, David Finlay, Juice Robinson, and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Will Ospreay, Yoshihashi, Jay White, Hiro Okigoto, and Kazuchika Okada. This, of course, big preview for Tanahashi versus Okada coming up early next month. Jay White and Finlay facing off in a few weeks. Juice Robinson and Goto for the Never title at some point, and Kushida and Ospreay for the junior title early next month. So that is your Friday the 13th show. And then I don't know what's happening.
Those stabbing noises.
The show for the 14th, more young lions. Narita versus Yota Tsuji, another debuting young lion, or at least probably debuted on Lionsgate, but I haven't seen it yet, so haven't seen this guy. Then Yuji Nagata versus Shota Umino. It'll be like I said, I've been liking Umino a lot lately. He's been showing some nice stuff against these heavyweights, so I'm really excited to see him versus Nagata here, and I'm really excited to see that Lionsgate show next month versus the big Japan guy. So
Nagata.
Yagi, Tiger Mask, and Tenzan versus Oka, Taguchi, and Manabu Nakanishi. Again, there's not a ton of super interesting stuff here, but the Korakuen Hall shows are always fun.
Will there be any Los Ingobernables there?
Absolutely. Rocky Romero, Sho and Yo teaming up against Suzuki Gun, Takamichinoku, Taichi, and Izuka again. Toa Henare and Makabe teaming up versus Yano and Ishii. Anytime Henare and Ishii get in the ring together, I'm enjoying it. Makabe is fun, and Yano is Yano, of course. But Henare's just really been fucking facing off with Ishii. So, again, I wouldn't mind seeing a Henare face off one-on-one with Ishii at some point. He might still be a little too young lion-y for the G1 at this point. But, I mean, if they throw him in there, who knows?
Fuck it.
Then a 8-man match, Kushida, Elgin, Finlay, and Juice Robinson.
Big jelly bean motherfucker.
Versus Will Ospreay, Yoshihashi, Jay White, and Goto. This is a Kushida Ospreay preview, basically, and a White David Finlay
I like
preview.
that it always highlights with some form of preview. That's one thing I like that New Japan does. It sets it up really well with these tag matches. A lot of people, again, I would take this over squash matches. I like the build up between the people.
Right, and you get little glimpses of what it's going to look like when these two have their singles match.
Instead of putting them on the same team.
Right, exactly. Then we got another Survivor Series style 10-man elimination match. It's Los Ingobernables de Japón. Did I leave that on there?
De Japón.
Los Ingobernables de Japan.
Honestly, I think Russo's pronunciation is better than JR's, which is Los Ingobernables. But yeah, the entire...
It's bad because JR's from fucking Oklahoma. He knows Mexican or Spanish.
So it's all of LIJ, Hiromu, Bushi, Sanada, Evil, and Naito versus Suzuki, Archer, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and El Desperado. Again, it's going to be Hiromu and Bushi taking on Desperado and Kanemaru for the junior titles. Davey Boy Smith and Lance Archer challenging Sonata and Evil for the heavyweight tag titles, and Naito is going to challenge Suzuki for the IWGP Intercontinental title. All of these matches coming up in the next month or so on these Road to Dontaku shows. So we will continue to preview them week to week as we get closer to them. We are, I believe, next week we'll get a couple of, anyway, I talked about it last week, but we'll stick to what's coming up this week. All right, so let's talk the WrestleMania weekend.
Well, I gotta go poop.
I need, hang on, I just need to take a sip of water for the working man here. Oh my God. Yeah, it was an insane weekend. Like I said, I saw a fraction of it. I did buy the Fight TV $90 package, so I can see basically all of the WWN stuff and the GCW stuff. So the Bloodsport, your Joey Janela Spring Break. I caught a little bit of Kaiju Big Battle Saturday night, just as I was winding down from Ring of Honor and NXT. I believe there was some House of Hardcore going on that same night, though, which I probably should have checked out instead of Kaiju Big Battle. But no. Anyway, we're going to go back all the way back to last Thursday. And we'll just cover some highlights. Matt Riddle's Bloodsport, Thursday afternoon. One of the most unique shows of the weekend.
Such an awesome way to start the weekend.
And absolutely worth the $15 or whatever on WWN Live
at 3 p.m.
or Fight TV to check it out. I looked at the lineup for the weekend and I said, look, I'm going to want to watch all this stuff. Some of it I'm going to want to watch live. Fuck it, here's $90 and I'll get to it eventually. So, cuz you get the lifetime replay with it.
For sure.
And granted, it would have been smarter just to wait a couple of weeks and then pay $10 on WWM Live. But I'm not sure if you get the GCW stuff then. I'm not sure if you get Bloodsport. Probably don't get Joey Janela then.
I think you might on those, actually. I don't know.
I'm not sure. So I was like, well, if I buy the fight one, I know I get the lifetime replay. So I just went with that. And like I said, if I was available to watch one of those live, I was going to want to watch it live and just have the access to it. So I figured instead of just paying $15 here, there, and everywhere, and then racking everything up, fuck it, I'll just get it and be done with it. So, but I probably would have been smarter to either just pay for the ones that I did watch, because I would have saved some money that way. So whatever, it was what it was. That's the thing is, last year it was kind of nice because almost all of this shit was on Flow Slam, but that obviously went by the wayside. That thing went out of business.
I thought it was handled very well, seeing that some of this was on Twitch, some of it was pay-per-view, some of it was uploaded, right after the event. So
absolutely.
Everything was, for the most part, outside of I want to say Evolve, where they have their own fucking world out of all the streaming things. It's fucking handled super awesome. Everything is super smooth. Yeah, like the WrestleCon stuff, like the Super Show over there, the Pancakes and Pile Drivers, those got up on the High Spots network really quickly. Instantly. So not quite instantly, but really quickly after the event. I think I believe it's fucking Progress or Evolve. One of those. It's you're gonna have to wait the 2 weeks for them to get uploaded. So it's like, wow, that's not annoying.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. That was the tough thing. That's why I went with the Fight thing, because then you can, it's on demand pretty much right away on Fight, so you can go back and watch it right away. So all right, let's start with this Bloodsport. So the whole thing, no ropes. And no pinfalls. So everything was submission or knockout, which made for some interesting and fun finishes along the way. Some referees got some heat for some awkward stoppages a couple of times on the show.
It got better as the show went on. Like the first couple of bouts were kind of like whatever, throwaways, but everyone got their footing in after a while.
Walter defeating Tom Lawler was a fun match on that show. I like that one. And then, of course, the main event, Minoru Suzuki versus Matt Riddle. It was just so cool to see him in this unique environment, just working this completely different style of match. Of course, you get a little bit of what was really smart about this whole card, though, is that nobody actually went outside of the ring until like the semi-main event. It was Nick Gage versus Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher, who's this catch wrestling style, European style wrestler, against this Nick Gage guy who's a complete hardcore brawler guy. And talk about living the gimmick. This guy has spent years in prison. This guy, he lives the fucking gimmick and is a complete. This guy literally died in the ring once and got medevaced off to the hospital, and they got brought back to life. He got this severed like an artery in his fucking armpit or something, and lost an insane amount of blood, I guess. So
he's another guy that fucking showed up this weekend.
He really did. Like
a lot of good matches with the film.
I'm not a huge hardcore. I don't like that style very much. But even in like a match like versus a Timothy Thatcher, he hung. And again, semi-main event match. That was the first match that went outside of the ring, which in a ring with no ropes, you'd think that would happen a little more often. But I like how they saved it for towards the end of the show. And so it was only that one, and then the Suzuki Matt Riddle match. That of course it's Suzuki. Suzuki Gun is always going to take the fucking fight outside the ring.
Yep.
So we had some of that there as well. But a fun, good show.
I kind of wish the fucking Martin Stone. I can't think of his name right, the NXT name, but I wish that match would have went a little bit longer. Those guys were really fucking hitting hard and going at Danny Burch.
Yeah, I thought
that was a good surprise one, but Masada.
Why do I know Tom Lawler though?
He is a UFC
He was
fighter.
a UFC fighter. Okay,
I think still, but
he's serving a suspension, I believe, right now. So.
Might as well make a few bucks.
But yeah, he's been doing pro wrestling for a while, and he's actually really involved over at Wrestling Observer. He does some audio shows, some podcasts, some member exclusive podcasts over there for the Observer. So is involved with that stuff. stuff too. Evolve 102. This was one of the shows of the weekend for me. This one again on Thursday. Really, one of Evolve's best showing. Although I didn't get a chance to see Evolve 103 yet, but we'll kind of get to that and highlight some things on that show. But Will Ospreay versus A.R. Fox, aka Dante Fox from Lucha Underground. Very good match between those two. I thought Ring Kampf, Timothy Thatcher and Walter versus Daisuke Sakimoto and Muniori Sawa. Daisuke Sakimoto and Muniori Sawa. I hope I'm saying Muniori. I hope that's right. The story of this Sawa guy, he's like 38, 39 years old, and he came out of retirement to do a couple of matches this weekend for Evolve. This guy looked fucking great.
Yeah.
I was impressed by this guy needs to come out of retirement full time and start wrestling again. I need to see more of this guy. He was really cool. Daisuke Sakimoto was this just short, jacked dude. He's the guy who's going to be taking on Umino next month and that Young Lions match I was just talking about.
Okay.
So seeing him was really cool. Fucking Walter is just awesome.
Oh my God.
Chopping sons of bitches. And then
this weekend was my first time really seeing him outside of internet clips, and
Right.
I'm a fan.
yes.
You and every true wrestling fan. This guy is a fucking beast.
And then Timothy Thatcher, he's got a unique, catch wrestling style that's, very Zack Sabre-like. Even Daniel Bryan, back in the day, kind of worked that style. So fun to see there. Then the Evolve Championship match, Matt Riddle versus longtime champion Zack Sabre Jr. Really good match. Matt Riddle getting the win here.
Awesome.
Good
for him.
Defeating Zack Sabre. Zack Sabre signing the full-time deal with New Japan. Going to focus more of his energy there, which I think is really fucking cool.
Fuck yeah, it is.
New Japan getting behind him, giving him that big push into the match with Okada.
Giant push.
So I'm expecting big things from Zack Sabre in the G1. Maybe not necessarily a win, but I'll be interested to see how
he taps out.
Just what they do with him over the next few months.
Yeah.
Going into the G1. What do they do with him at Dominion? Him versus. It's too bad that he's in Suzuki Gun, because him versus Suzuki would be really fucking great in a New Japan ring. But it'll be interesting to see what they and those two for a championship would be outstanding. So there's that. WrestleCon Super Show.
So fun.
Did I see this one? I don't recall. Yeah, I saw this one. That's
the question of the week. Did I watch this?
That's the thing is, there's so many. There was so much shit. Pentagon versus Joey Janela. Joey Janela was hung over in the match from the night before, but still made it. It was still a fun match. Speaking of fun matches, Joey Ryan versus Jerry Lawler. Joey Ryan doing the Andy Kaufman gimmick. I forget what they said it was. It was like the anniversary of something or other.
It was the anniversary of when Jerry Lawler pile drived Andy Kaufman the first time in the ring.
Yeah, so just a really fun match. Jerry Lawler gets disqualified for shooting a fireball at Joey Ryan's dick. I'm sure everybody's seen the GIF at this point, but just in case you haven't, go look for it. It's out there.
It's fun.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, that happened on the show. Tomohiro Ishii versus Jeff Cobb.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, again, Ishii brought it the whole weekend, and yeah.
Jeff Cobb is one powerful motherfucker.
I should go to my actual notes here. Let me see here.
Notes.
Where is the Super Show? Jeff Cobb versus Ishii. It's Ishii hitting fucking big ass suplexes, Cobb hitting big ass Germans and near falls, and Germans into the buckles, great counters and near falls late. Everything you would expect. It was just fucking. It was amazing. Really great lucha tag team match on this show. Rey Fenix and Rey Horus versus Flamita and Bandito. I had like zero expectations going into this thing, and fucking Rey Fenix is so fucking awesome. The way he bounces up and down the fucking ropes and flips off of everything. It's just
smooth like butter.
So fucking good. And then Will Ospreay versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara, Adam Brooks, and Shane Strickland. Excuse me. Yeah, a 4-way. Really great fucking match.
It's nonstop.
Yeah, and for Will Ospreay, just working his ass off, a week removed from the insane match with Marty Scurll. You know, a big story going into the weekend is Will Ospreay even going to be able to make it to the WrestleMania weekend? He made it, and he fucking showed up and worked his ass off. You know, all taped up and everything, selling those quote injuries from that show. So just amazing stuff. The main event, Golden Lovers versus Chuck Taylor and his surprise partner Flip Gordon, which disappointed some in the building, him being announced as the surprise partner on two levels, just because I think Flip Gordon has a little bit of indie heat because of the flat earther gimmick.
Yep.
I don't know how much he actually believes that, but I know the guy's slants conservative. He's a military guy, whatever. So he's got some heat for that from the indie crowd. Understandable.
He knows how to poke fun, though, with a smile on everyone's
Absolutely.
face. Fucking pouring his milk first before the cereal shit. Like, I'm glad to see he's having that fucking attitude with it.
He's working
He's doing it
the right way, exactly. So he's got a little bit of heat there. And I was disappointed just in the fact that on the last New Japan tour, Chucky T is teaming up with Okada, and he's making Okada say, me and Chucky T, we're the best tag team ever now. And so I was like, I was excited, like, what if Okada shows up at the WWE?
That didn't even
Super
think of
Show?
popping my head at all.
Oh my god, I would have just popped so hard for that. But that was not what happened. It was Flip Gordon. That was it was still a fun match. Seeing the Golden Lovers in that unique indie style setting, I thought was really, really cool. I did not see the crash, but Taco, I know you did.
Fun show. This is another one of those events where I'm saying Flip Gordon was the highlight of the fucking weekend. He had a three-way match with Laredo Kid and Ray Horus.
Ray Horus,
but also known as Dragon Azteca Jr. from
Yes.
Lucha Underground. And yeah, just a fucking awesome match going back and forth between all three of those guys.
Willie Mack versus Brian Cage and Sami Callihan. I'm sure that was a fun match. And then main event, Austin Aries versus Pentagon, I'm sure was...
Yeah, man. We'll get into a little bit, but just these interactions between Austin Aries and Penta and, you know, Phoenix going on. It's awesome what's going on. Phoenix is another guy that's been showing up this weekend, getting
Phoenix,
his name out there.
awesome.
There's that Phoenix Flamita match. Go out there and check out. It's just, you know, these guys have been showcasing themselves perfectly all weekend long.
Again, I did not see progress, any progress, but and again, I say it over and over and over again. I hear so many great things about the Progress promotion, but I just haven't gotten to it. I haven't gotten to it. So, you know, Matt Riddle versus Jimmy Havoc on that show. Jeff Cobb, Austin versus Austin Theory, Chris Brooks and Darby Allin, and Joey Janela, and Maxwell, Jacob Friedman, and Perro and Ricky Shane Page. That sounds like it was called a Thunder Bastard match. Keith Lee and David Starr versus Ring Comp. That's Thatcher and Walter. Ospreay versus Mark Haskins. A lot of great stuff on that Progress show. Here's the Rev Pro stuff. This is for you New Japan fans, this is where a lot of New Japan stars showed up. David Starr versus Martin Stone. I
want to see that match so fucking bad.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see a lot of this stuff. Will Ospreay, Rocky Romero, and Chucky T out of Chaos of defeating Flip Gordon, Kota Ibushi, and Shane Strickland.
Damn.
Shane Strickland showed up a couple of times in some matches with some New Japan guys. He is a guy who's just so good, so athletic. I'd really like to see a guy like him show up in the junior division in New Japan.
Yeah.
Him next month in the Best of the Super Juniors, I think it'd be really cool.
In June, he'll be in WrestlePalooza, which we'll be at.
Ooh. So yeah, he's a guy on the come up here. He had some insane fucking hardcore matches last year in Lucha Underground and for CZW. But yeah, he's a guy who I'm very impressed with every time I see him. Suzuki versus Jeff Cobb is one that I really want to see. And then the main event, of course, Ishii defeating Zack Sabre Jr. for the British heavyweight title. It's funny because Zack Sabre's going around losing, his Rev Pro title, his Evolve title because he signed the full-time deal with New Japan, but then a full-time New Japan guy, Ishii, defeats him for the title in Rev Pro. I think that's kind of funny.
Sense,
maybe a good way of keeping Ishii off of the G1 and have him fuck around in Rev Pro at the time.
Ishii's he had that Ring of Honor TV title for a while.
Yeah.
I think he's been in the title picture in Rev Pro a couple of times too.
Okay.
So it's just,
I love me some Ishii, so I want him everywhere.
and I like when he shows up carrying other promotions belts in New
I
Japan.
want him in
You
commercials.
love him so much, why don't you marry him?
Okay, going back to Evolve now, Evolve 103. Again, I didn't get a chance to see this one, but there's some matches here that I'm really intrigued by. The main event, Matt Riddle versus Daisuke Sakimoto, and then that Muneyori Sawa versus a guy named Jaka, who I'm unfamiliar with. Walter's on this show, Timothy Thatcher, Keith Lee is on that title, or actually Austin Theory, a young and up-and-coming guy, defeated Keith Lee for the WWN Championship there. So some interesting stuff there. Okay, then the WWN Super Show. This has some interesting stuff on this show. Zack Sabre Jr. I thought I saw this, but I guess I didn't. Zack Sabre versus... this is one I have to see. This has got this Muneyori Sawa guy, the guy I was talking about who came out of retirement. I really need to see this. Him versus Zack Sabre Jr. Let's see. Daisuke Sakimoto over Keith Lee. I want to see that. Matt Riddle versus Will Ospreay in the main event. Gotta see that. So, there's so much stuff I gotta see here yet.
Nerdgasm!
Right? Seriously. here.
So much.
All right, let's talk. I know you guys got to see pretty much the entire Impact versus Lucha Underground
Oh,
show.
I was so pumped that night. I found a Twitch app on PS3.
Yeah.
Could watch it for free. I literally was downloading it like 8:55 before it started. I'm happy I did.
Nice. So what are some of the standouts from the undercard of that show? I got to see a couple of those matches late in that show. I was watching something else going on that night.
It was super short. But I like the way it finished, just that opening match, just because you have all these stars in there, and they're beating the shit out of each other, and then literally Matanza just rolls into the ring, just body slams a couple people, boom, win.
Matanza, a.k.a. Jeff Cobb, working his ass off, of course.
I didn't know this Allie chick, so I didn't really know her personality. She seemed kind of bland to me. Obviously, I know who Taya is. I know all about her. But
Coming out of Lucha
her
Underground.
character, it didn't do anything for me just in that entrance. But again, that was literally the first time I'd ever seen her. I've never seen her talk. I've never watched the
This was
actual
probably the
Impact show.
better Allie to see for the first time.
Yeah, because she was kind of doing the whiny assistant gimmick on Impact.
To Maria.
Yeah, and then
it was just not, it was rough. But yeah, no, they actually took her a little bit serious now, and, nothing to brag about. But a lot of people are butthurt because they thought Taya should have won, and, well, yeah, of course, she's always probably going to whoop Allie's ass, but, not the spot for it, especially when they got, pay-per-views and shit coming up.
You got to tell me about Scott Steiner teaming up with Teddy Hart to defeat OVE.
He was gassed once he got up to the ring to stand in the corner. I swear
Give me the fucking mic!
oh my god! And then towards the end, his body slams were so rough.
I gotta give props to Teddy Hart this weekend.
Hart held it together.
Fucking put it. Well, there was that little spot at the beginning of the match where I think Teddy Hart went off in his own thing, and Scott Steiner's kind of swearing, what the fuck is going on? I don't know who to blame in that situation, but basing it off all Teddy Hart's that whole appearance that whole weekend, he showed up, he did his thing, he had a good time. I can't say nothing bad about Teddy Hart this weekend. But OVE's another group of guys that's showing up this weekend and fucking, earning their keep. Hell fucking yeah to them. But yeah, that tag match was whatever. If you want to see Scott Steiner fucking be Scott Steiner, watch it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Let's see, the LAX versus Killshot and the Mac. Or that one was
no, that was a solid match. These two, LAX. I don't know a lot of these Impact names. I just know that they are from Impact, but it was a back and forth match. I love the spots at the end where they teased it. They're like, Killshot and Mac, they're gonna do this. They're gonna do. No, they didn't.
And again, Killshot, Shane Strickland.
But definitely worth the watch to check those two go at it.
Yeah, those two are always fun to watch.
The I Quit match between Jeremiah Crane, a.k.a. Sammy Callahan, who's got the thing going on with Eddie Edwards, accidentally broke Eddie Edwards' face with the baseball bat. So this was it was a hell of a match. For an I Quit match, I thought these two brought it. I enjoyed the physicality of it, and I just thought
the
it was
flag having to be thrown in was a good touch. Kept Eddie kind of looking strong.
Yeah. Callis coming out and basically throwing in the towel for Eddie
It's the first
Edwards.
time I've seen him. Ever.
Really?
That is the first time I've ever seen him. Not what he sounds like.
Yeah, interesting. And then Pentagon Dark defeating Austin Aries and Phoenix. Again, Phoenix, amazing. This was supposed to be a tag match. Alberto El Patron / Del Rio didn't show up. He's gone from Impact.
Officially fired. Fuck him.
And
Yep. That's all we
This
need
was
to
a
say.
blessing in disguise for this main event. This just made Impact shine even more to the point where it's the main event of their next match instead of
Their pay-per-view,
their pay-per-view instead of Del Rio against Austin Aries. It's now going to be this match, which awesome. That's such a fucking treat for Impact fans who have been sticking with them for so long, and for the the returning fans and the new fans of Impact. Yeah, this is going to be such a fucking treat for them on pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, Pentagon is over like fucking Rover with Cero Miedo and all that. Ray Phoenix, like I was just taught, he's so fucking awesome. And Austin Aries is Austin Aries. He's amazing.
Yes, sir.
He's the greatest man that ever lived. And so, the unfortunate thing is that all of Impact's TV is taped, and it's all building up to Del Rio versus Aries for the
That's a
pay-per-view.
bummer.
So it'll be interesting to see if they can do some editing and maybe change some things around on their TV over the next few weeks, because that they're still a couple 3 weeks away from that pay-per-view.
Reshoots.
So it's certainly possible they could do some interviews, some promos, or whatever.
And people get it. It's fucking Del Rio. We're not mad at you, Impact. You finally made the right move.
Yeah. He's a guy he's had chance after chance after chance. WWE gave him 2 chances. Yeah, fuck that guy. He
can stay in Mexico, dude.
Whatever.
You can't even do a fucking restaurant business here.
All right, let's talk Joey Janela's Spring Break.
Oh my god!
I got to go back and finish watching this show. I was up. It's a midnight show. I had to work the next day. I had to turn it off going into the David Starr Mike Quackenbush match, which has a great backstory to it, which I really wanted to see. Matt Riddle versus James Ellsworth. This PCO versus Walter. This was.
I have heard about this.
You gotta fucking see this. This guy, Walter, chops this guy so much and so hard. Have you seen the picture?
No.
There's a picture.
I will do it now.
There's a picture. It's on.
keep talking.
It's on Twitter. This guy's chest is so fucking purple from Walter's chops. Like, go to the hospital, dude. Like, it looks so bad. It's just, oh my god. They
just purple. Completely.
They just chopped the shit out of each other the entire match. PCO gets the upset win over Walter in the end. They show respect to each other after at the end of the match,
smacking each other.
Well, yeah, they give each other one more chop and before they show each other the respect after the match. The Invisible Man wins the Clusterfuck Battle Royal. And then
that clusterfuck, Ron Funches, if you guys don't know who that is, he's a stand-up comedian, and he was a kid in a candy store this whole fucking weekend. Like, fucking, his mind was about to explode trying to decide between NXT and Ring of Honor to go to the fucking weekend, and he managed to make it a both. But yeah,
Jesus,
he's drunk as.
Joe just found the picture of
holy
this
fuck.
dude's chest.
But yeah, there's he's drunk. One of the commentators said, "Fuck it, I gotta go take a piss." So they put Ron Funches on commentary for this. Everybody's drunk this whole fucking time.
Nice.
Ron
just
Funches
one
is
big
the
party
best.
this whole fucking show. But yeah, man, this whole event was awesome, and it just made me fall in love with Joey Janela because just like the promos were awesome, his music was awesome, his fucking setup was awesome. It's just like I'm liking what this guy is doing, bringing to the table.
Did our production meeting before the show end up figuring out who PCO was? I had heard he was somebody in the past, and we
were fucking
we were gonna look it up, and I think we got
unfortunately, but
sidetracked. So
it sounds like, but I can tell you with that Sawalk, I actually was able to do a little research that basically the battle promotion that he had helped build was closing down.
Yes, and they talked
his
about
body was a little tired anyways. He's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna hang her up. I don't need to go to a new promotion because I helped build this promotion. I'm gonna die with this promotion.
Yeah, and now that you bring it up, they talked about that on the show now. So yeah, but he was so good. I was like, God, this guy needs to get back into it. Get this guy in the junior heavyweight division in New Japan or something. He'd be great.
So he was one of the Quebecers.
Okay, yeah,
the old tag
that's
team.
what I thought. That he was one of the Quebecers.
So
yeah.
wow,
one of the Quebecers got his chest damn near bloodied, bruised to all get out, and defeated Walter. So,
Hey, good for him.
AAW's Pancakes and Pile Drivers show. This was.
I gotta go back to that David Starr Quackenbush match. Because you know, like David Starr is one of those names. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? Why do I keep seeing him? I believe he's really deep into Chikara and all that, and I've unfortunately not really been seeing any of that. So and I do need to.
Well, and that's the Mike Quackenbush connection.
Quackenbush too. He's another guy I am not familiar with, and I was like, fucking nerd. Like, oh my god, these two guys brought it, and this was such a fucking fun match. So yeah, you're gonna be in for a treat watching this one.
Yeah, I gotta go back.
Also going to be at WrestlePalooza in June.
Ooh, we're gonna be going to that show up here in the Minneapolis area. All right, next day now, AAW, FCP, a bunch of other promotions involved. The Pancakes and Pile Drivers show. This was on the WrestleCon side of things, so this one available on High Spots.
This is one of those events too. Like we talk about WrestlePalooza, and you know they have a show coming up in Iowa too coming on. This felt like this was the only event that I watched it. Well, besides Joey Janela, but that felt like that bar wrestling scene and that atmosphere and those kind of guys and what you would expect at those kind of events.
Just your big time indie stars, yeah. And it's not first wrestling that has a show in Iowa. It's another.
It's the Revolver. It's these guys.
Oh, Wrestling Revolver.
Yep, Wrestling Revolver. They just teamed up with AAW and whatnot. But that's what I'm saying. Out of all these events that happened this weekend, outside of Joey Janela's, this is like for those out there kind of curious of what you might expect out of Wrestling Revolver. Like I said, we talk about First Wrestling's Wrestling Palooza, or they got the bar wrestling out there, and I think New York, New Jersey.
Bar wrestling's California.
Yeah, that's California.
That's Joey Ryan's promotion. Yep.
But this is to me what those feel like to me is like that kind of bar wrestling quote mentality.
Bar wrestling is the alternative to PWG out in California, and again, that you can find bar wrestling on High Spots too. High Spots is a sneaky good little subscription for $10 because you get not only the stuff we were just talking about, but you get these the WrestleCon shows, and the Crash was on there too. So, but yeah, there's Pancakes and Pile Drivers. Just a couple of things to.
Those pancakes looked terrible.
Oh really?
Terrible.
Jeff Cobb versus Shane Strickland on that show. Cobb getting the win there in a shorter match, but curious to see how those. Did you get a chance to see this one, Taco?
Oh, I did. Yeah, like I said, nothing really stuck out as, oh my god, you need to see it. It's just one of those wrestling things put on. It's gonna be a fucking fun show, start to end. Unfortunately, I didn't know a lot of these guys, but some of these guys, like the besties in the world, I recognize from WrestlePalooza. And I believe they're more like Chikara guy, AEW guys, maybe. Yeah, so it was kind of a treat to see some of these kind of guys. Watching this event, though, I realized Jack Evans does nothing for me. He's fun, but like a lot of these people really stuck out this weekend and really shined to me. And God, I realized later into the wrestling weekend that, oh fuck, that's Jack Evans, Lucha Underground. He shaved his fucking head. Like he just didn't stick out to me this weekend, unfortunately.
I do want to go and check out Juice Robinson versus Eddie Kingston.
Oh yes,
Eddie Kingston's a guy I saw when I went to AAW in Chicago last year, and nothing too impressive about the guy. But when he chops, there's like this bass to it. There's like I'm sure it's probably very similar to seeing Walter live in person, but there's just this thickness to his chops, and he just hits so fucking hard. So I'd be interested to see that match. And then I'm a big Marty DeRosa guy. I like Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling podcast. He teamed up. This is not a wrestler. He's a fucking comedian and podcast guy. He teamed up with.
It was fun spots.
He teamed up with Colt Cabana versus Joey Ryan and Martina. So a little bit of intergender stuff, some goofy stuff. I'm sure fun comedy stuff. But
Martina, that broad, fucking, I'm in love with her. She's fucking pulling out rubbers out of her pants and doing like the Mr. Socko with them. Fucking she's doing the vag flips and shit. Like, good, fucking hilarious shit. Perfect for Joey Ryan.
Interesting. Oh, my computer's out here.
Are we even recording?
We are recording. Are you sure? The recording one's up. The soundbite one went bye-bye on me here. I was going to hit one of these.
Who's ACH?
And I'll be hype as a bitch.
American Charge Head.
He's an indie guy. He was in Ring of Honor. He didn't do a lot for me in Ring of Honor, but he was on the Best of the Super Juniors last year. Did the Super Junior Tag Tournament last year as well.
There we go.
He's another guy that before I saw him live in Chicago, I wasn't a huge fan of. But he's like this super nerd. But then live, it just hits you. You realize how hard the guy hits and how fast he goes, and he's very athletic, very does that junior heavyweight style, kind of that Ricochet style, really, really well. He defended the AEW title versus Trevor Lee in like a 3-minute match on this Pancakes and Pile Drivers show. So, but those are two guys that are really good, but kind of surprising they got like a quick match on that show. I'm going to move ahead to Progress 67. Again, didn't see it, but Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez are on that show.
Nice.
And Walter versus Zack Sabre Jr. Is one I want. Walter actually got the win in that one, so that might be something to go back and check out.
I hope his legs are too thick to put into submission moves.
That's certainly a possibility. CZW didn't see any of that, but again, going back to David Starr defeating Juice Robinson on that show.
That was a good match.
And Will Ospreay defeating Desmond Xavier, another young indie guy, but really good with the high-flying stuff. So I'd be very curious to see how that... did you see this one time?
I did, yes.
So how was that one? I'm sure that was...
Another fucking, like fucking Jeff Cobb's on there, got defeated on there and everything, but... Yeah, just everyone fucking showed up this weekend. It was just fun shows nonstop, and fucking interactions between like this Joey Janela, Penelope Ford against Joey Ryan and Laura James, completely different lady that he was teaming with. But there's one point where Joey goes and does grabs her tits and does his suplex thing, whatever, and just Joey Janela just get pissed off. I paid for those tits. Like, so it's just that kind of event, and it was fun show.
That sounds very CZW.
It was for a CZW thing though, they didn't really do CZW stuff.
Right.
Look at the talent they had on this though. So it was kind of
in a building where they got to do 100 other shows and stuff too. So,
and it was just a good way to kind of bring their guys out of their element a little bit too.
Shimmer 100 moving on. This is another one that I'm going to get. I bought on the on the fight package, but I haven't had a chance to see anything yet. But a lot of names on the Shimmer show: Mia Yim, Veda Scott. Kimberly.
Mercedes Martinez is on there again, too.
Yep, Leva Bates, Cheerleader Melissa, Madison Eagles, Deanna Peraza, Tony Storm, Shaza McKenzie, Tessa Blanchard. So, yeah, a ton of names on that show. Mercedes Martinez, like you said, as well. Let's move on. The Style Battle was a tournament. I didn't see any of this either, but again, I have access to it. Matt Riddle versus Keith Lee. Matt Riddle getting a win there, 2 WWN guys, and then Matt Riddle winning the final match versus a guy named Anthony Henry. I was
gonna say, like, all the names on here are like names I know the least amount, so I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, if you're looking for maybe some new faces, some new names to check out, that would be Style Battle might be a good one to see. Then moving on to House of Hardcore. I didn't get a chance to see this one. Did you guys see some of this?
Yeah, I did.
Taco saw everything. Taco, you got to tell me how Joey Ryan defeated Teddy Hart, man.
God, see, this is one of those ones where we the thing of the weekend is, wrestling fans are too tired. This was the one that got me.
Okay.
This was the one that got me, but Just the typical kind of shit you'd expect out of a House of Hardcore match, which they're having a show on tonight. Wednesday was fucking the 10th, 11th today.
Oh, yeah.
They're having a show on tonight on Twitch.
Their weekly TV show is on Twitch.
But, it was fun to see people like MVP against Carlito. It's like, oh, shit, they doing stuff,
Killer Elite Squad versus Billy Gunn and Tommy Dreamer.
Mm-hmm. Teddy Hart, Joey Ryan, Austin Aries. I've been saying those guys showed up. Fucking Brian Cage, man.
Yeah, he's another guy.
He's going to be a bigger star in the future if he keeps up at this pace. He's fucking thick and knows how to move.
And he's right. And again, going back to Impact is making a lot of right moves with pushing Austin Aries, Ray Phoenix, and Pentagon. And they've recently started pushing Brian Cage as well. So they're picking up the right names off the indie scene and going with those names. It's not the same old stuff going on over at Impact. So I'm glad you brought up his name.
Was he with Suzuki? Shit.
There was I was looking for it too, and I'm gonna look at my notes.
It was the OVE. They were fighting OVE, so I think one of these lists are fucked up. God damn
something is definitely, and I'm gonna look at my notes here too because there was
so much
notes. There was a match where Suzuki showed up by surprise as a surprise partner for somebody, and it was fucking nuts.
I want to say it might have been that Pancakes and Pile Driver show.
No, because I saw it. I was watching it and I didn't see Pancakes and Pile Driver.
Okay,
might have been the WrestleCon Super Show. Let me see here. No. This is what we see. We had the production meeting, and I stopped highlighting stuff that I was going to. Okay, yes, it was the WrestleCon Super Show. It was OVE, Sami Callihan, Juice Robinson, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Not OVE. Sami Callihan is part of OVE, but I fucked up when I wrote that down. But Sami Callihan teaming up with Juice and Hiroshi Tanahashi. So the re-teaming of Death Juice with Sami Callihan and Juice Robinson. And then Tanahashi in the fucking mix.
That was great.
And so, David Starr and Brian Cage come out, and Callahan's like, you guys don't have a fucking partner.
That's what it was, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Who's going to team up with you fucks, David Starr
I'll
and
give
Brian
you to
Cage?
a count of 3.
And then fucking Suzuki shows up, and the roof blows off the fucking place. Just a really fun, amazing match. That was on the same show with the Golden Lovers and Chucky T and Flip Gordon. Yeah, because the Golden Lovers match was the main event of that show, and it got overshadowed by fucking Suzuki coming out in the match before it when, the surprise in the main event was Flip Gordon.
Yeah.
So everybody's
takes the gas out.
With Suzuki being the surprise in the semi-main, everybody's thinking, oh my God, Okada's coming in the main event. What are we going to do? And then it's Flip Gordon, so it's like, fuck this. So that was why there, but what a fucking weekend, man.
Awesome weekend.
Insane. And so much more to watch.
Yeah, fuck. So, again, if you want to hear us talking about NXT, WrestleMania, check out Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. It's going to be just an insane amount of stuff. I'm very excited for the upcoming stuff coming out of New Japan. This should be a fun tour. This wrestling Dontaku and the Road To stuff. We get a nice little break before we get some bigger matches towards the end of the month or in a couple of weeks anyway. So,
just a fucking beautiful showcase of the state of wrestling this weekend, though. Fucking, people scratching each other's backs, helping each other out. Fucking shit happened. It just everything was so smoothly, not just for the wrestlers, but for the fans, productions, shit on Twitch, shit on fucking the streaming, outside of Ring of Honor. The guys
that's one thing I can say. That was my first experience with Twitch ever, doing anything with it.
Yeah.
I had no problems watching it, no blips, and again, the PS3 is not the newest technology nowadays.
Well, and here I want to give Ring of Honor a little bit of and sorry to throw the music hook in there. That was kind of I was jumping the gun a little bit there.
Just telling Taco to wrap that shit up.
No, not at all. But
Toby, wrap it up.
But no, there's been a lot of attention more recently on Ring of Honor, and that service was hit hard probably by the...
They got hit hard, but you know how many subscribers you got.
Yeah. And that was something that they addressed in their apology as well. But I do want to give props to all of this indie stuff because they upped the production values. I didn't run into very many streaming issues at all, even with the live stuff.
I loved the raw feeling of some of it though, like that
absolutely.
Crash Lucha thing though, like right off the bat, the first match had no commentary, and then I don't know who the guy is, Mexican fella, because he knew everybody, but he's very awkward English a little bit, but he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I should have been there for the first match," kind of stuff, and hearing people kind of talk off to the side, like it was kind of fun just seeing that raw feel a little bit.
Well, and then like the super shows and the Joey Janela's, they're swearing on commentary and stuff like that.
Oh, they're just fucking drunk.
Exactly, but
that was that show.
For the most part, the audio was good. The video quality for what it was, for lower quality cameras and everything else, and just streaming it live, it was good, so props to all of the indie stuff.
It was awesome.
And putting out viewable products and getting things uploaded, pretty quickly, and getting things uploaded in a timely fashion after they were live to be able to watch watch on demand after it was live was done
especially
really well.
With, like situations like Joey Janela fucking wrestling till 4 a.m. and then pancakes and pile drivers at 10 a.m.
Yeah. So there was that. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Follow this show at Strong Honor. Join the conversation on Twitter. Really, just start.
I hate to stop you again, but are we gonna do a Kojima tweet of the week?
Of course we are. Of course.
Ooh.
That's right. False finish number 2.
Very but 2 minutes of you, Joe.
The Satoshi Kojima tweet of the week.
That was the second false finish of the show. But yeah, we almost didn't.
That's what she said.
Almost didn't do one because he has not tweeted in English since last week's Kojima tweet. So we hit the translator on the Google.
He had a lot of wrestling to watch.
Yeah, I guess so. He was watching all the same stuff that we were. He had no time to tweet in English, but plenty in Japanese. So follow Kojima at cozy_lariat on Twitter. Good morning. I got up early, around 4:30. In parentheses, it says sweat. I'm doing a lot of errands today, but I want to do my best in good health. I want to eat delicious bread. Outside is crispy, and inside is funwari. I don't know what funwari is, by the way. But
doesn't matter. You don't need to know.
Exactly. So, again, follow the show at Strong Honor on Twitter.
2 minutes.
Join the conversation. Follow me at Tommy Stryker. Spell Stryker with a Y. StrongHonor.com, for the website. Find all the old episodes. Best Pro Wrestling Podcast is there as well. Email the show, stronghonorpodcast@gmail.com, facebook.com/stronghonorpodcast. Share this thing, spread the word, get the love out there. If you're on Reddit, do it there. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, get the word out that
Taco Bell.
We're talking Ring of Honor and New Japan over here on Strong Honor. Taco, where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at JoeBPWP. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
That's it for Strong Honor. Bye!
Peace.
Professional wrestling is a fight.
Get out of the fucking ring.
You've got to use a few tricks up your sleeve, if you know what I mean. A bit of the old skullduggery.
My botch. Hey.